FY 芬尼尔没有现在的打得那么好。
我觉得我芬尼尔应该是最默契的一个辅助了，都是有失误也不会去提。然后我打得不好的时候，他会鼓励我；然后他打得不好的时候，我会鼓励他。
这几年 FY 成长了很多，然后又过了1年，他从队员现在变成了队长，然后我们也一起拿了不少冠军。我非常感谢他在这1年就陪伴我们一起成长。
游戏当中，我觉得成长的最多的还是很多时候他能给大家一个依靠吧。
而 FY 对 VG 来说，就像是马尔蒂尼对 AC 米兰，或者说托蒂对罗马那样，他就是 VG 的象征，现在 VG 的招牌。
The cheers are so loud we actually heard them in the concourse here, and I think that might be the first time today for those players. Very popular indeed. FY and Ice X3 definitely getting big cheers from the crowd. Very interesting Vici Gaming this season as well, because we saw what they did last year. Second place, looked very good, really adapted well to the meta. They haven't maybe transitioned the same way so far this year.
Like, if you look at all those players, like both Navi and Vici, you look at what they achieved and their level. If you think they're good, then you don't understand. You know, they're legends.
Get out now.
They're legends, honestly. And
they are.
I don't want any of those players to be out, but it's going to happen. 5 of them are going to be like disqualified today, and it's pretty sad, you know. But we're here. It's competition. It's how it is. But it's going to be a really tough fight.
It is. Yeah. Let's talk about Vici Gaming first of all. Pirim, what are your thoughts on
Well, my thoughts, I'm amazed that they're where they are, because last year, towards the end of last year, they looked amazingly good, and I'm just like, wow, they're fantastic. And now here they are, 1 game away from being knocked out. I don't understand how it's happened. They should be doing better than this.
2014 seemed like every tournament they went to, they were everyone's favourites. Not just popularity-wise, but actually genuinely, like, no one knows how to beat them.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be every tournament. What's happened in that 12 months?
Someone?
Anyone?
I have to say that even though Hao seemed like a better fit than Black, according to them and on the paper, I have to say that I have not been convinced by Vici with Hao more than I have with Black.
I mean, I'm a massive fan. I think Black's a great player. I mean, he's a great guy. I don't know what they mean by a different... Maybe the fit wasn't as good. Maybe they didn't find that they could get along with him the same way they can with Hao. It must be that, because he's a fantastic player, and any team would miss it.
But then on the flip side of that, as Seb has already said, when you look at the lineup, Hao, FY, Super, Fenrir, and Ice. I mean, holy Moses, that's fantastic. How the heck are they in the lower bracket in a best-of-1 knockout game?
It's tough to say. Like, I think they struggled to find their own play style, to play their own game. You know, with Vici Gaming, you could tell that they had no doubts in what they were doing. They switched around a lot. You know, FY was captaining, then when it was Hao, they went back to FY and they said that coming into the tournament, they were interviewed and they were like, we think we got it, you know, the meta and how we have to play. We'll see. Yeah. You know, you can still like feel some doubts, and that's not a good thing usually.
Yeah, when we've seen LGD and CDEC do what they've done today in particular and go through the semi-finals of the upper bracket, 12 months ago, that was VG.
Yeah, I mean, Vici is a team that strives for perfection. They were second place at TI3, they were second place at DAC, and clearly they weren't happy with that, or else they wouldn't have changed the roster. I think most teams would have been very content with both of those results, but they're not. They aim for #1, and I mean, maybe that got a little bit to them after DAC, and yeah, I agree. Hao does look better on paper in terms of his results, but their playstyle and their results after that just haven't reflected. I definitely would have put them in the upper bracket at least, not the group stage.
Yeah, indeed. They said top 3 would be a reasonable result. I think top 3 would be an astonishing result considering where they are right.
Where they are now, yeah. But prior to the tournament, I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing for them to expect, although it obviously has not worked out. And I personally think they will win today. I just
Got a
I
feeling.
really think they will, yeah.
Okay. That's a good transition, actually, because we're going to talk about Na'Vi now as well. I mean, probably the most storied franchise in Dota 2. Right from the very get-go, we had the story of Dendi. We've seen the film. We've seen the documentaries. We've seen all the other videos since. Such a lovable player as well, and Havost in the video as well. But Artstyle said at the very beginning, returning to the team that obviously he won with as well at the very beginning of TI1, he said, we'll all be a surprise. And he's right. They've been surprisingly bad.
It's harsh, but it's how it has been so far. But everyone does know that there are two Navis. There's the Navi, there's standard Navi, and there's Navi under pressure. Navi in the money time, Navi in the loser bracket, and there's also the Navi magic to help them.
Absolutely.
We all remember TI3 where you don't even know how it happened, but they are in the finals, and they're the team that can actually take games from Alliance, although they looked more than shaky.
Yeah, Pirin, so, when you look at the Seb, when you look at the bracket though, and you look at all those dangerous teams that are in there, everyone must have gone, oh, thank God I didn't get Na'Vi. And VG must be going, oh, why did we have to get them? Because they are potentially the most dangerous team to have in that lower bracket, aren't they?
Yeah, potentially is the word. I mean, they haven't... If you think about Na'Vi, for most Dota fans who've been following the game for a while, they're like the team. They're like the legendary team in the Western scene and the CIS scene that you just go to. There's people wearing Na'Vi jerseys. They're like very, very popular team. All the players are legends. And then Puppy and Kuro leave, and I don't know what's quite happened since then. But when we're talking about that lower bracket grit, I think that a lot of that was down to their captain Puppy, I think.
Okay. That's very interesting. But you're right about you're right about the shirts as well, because when I turned up this morning, there were so many of these shirts around, I actually thought the Valve employees were wearing yellow and black. There were just so many people in Na'Vi shirts. It's great to see. Sorry, Melanie, you were saying?
It's a little heartbreaking to see them fall apart so drastically after switching captains. It was Puppy and then FNG and now Artstyle. I mean, their results have been subpar, but the way they lose is not always the same thing. Generally, they win the early game, which is really good, but then it's just having trouble converting. And I think Artstyle, lacks the vision that, let's say, Puppy has to win the entire game in an entire series. So I think if they just, extend their versatility a little bit more, they can win.
Okay, Winter, where do you think their mentality is right now? Considering that Artstyle said in the interview, we're not going to be in the best of ones. That was shot before we started groups, and he said, well, I'm going to be in the best of ones. We'll be in the upper bracket. And they obviously then now didn't expect to be in this position. So how do they cope with that mentally? Or is this what we're talking about, that Na'Vi magic that gets them out of trouble?
Yeah, I think Na'Vi is like the last team you would want to play in a B1. That's the reason why Virtus.pro, they didn't even choose Na'Vi, even though Na'Vi was like the last team. That tells a lot. Like, no one wants to play Na'Vi, and Na'Vi against the wall is a different Na'Vi. You never know what's going to happen and what they're going to go for. And I think that they're going to bring something new today, like a new type of play style, a surprise, so that they can actually take Vichy by out of their comfort zone.
And it's true as a team, but it's true individually. Like, all those players, they're not afraid to go for the risky plays at all. They're like against the wall, like as you said, if they do a big mistake, they're going to lose the game, and they're going to get out. They don't really care. They're going to play as good as they think they have to play, and they're just going to go for what they think they have to do. And
okay. Dendy's probably had one standout game so far, which was the 20-0 that he went. But other than that, I haven't really seen the magic from him. He's due a good game, isn't he, someone?
What changed with Dandy, in my opinion, is that when Poppy left, he had to carry a lot of weight, like for the team on his shoulders, and that's something he didn't have to do before. So he probably feels like he needs to try to lead the team and everything, and it does hurt your own plays, in game. So he doesn't have the space he used to have. He feels like he's forced to go for plays, lead the team. Let's do this. Let's captaining, somehow in game.
That's the reason why most of the captains are support players, because when you're on the support position, you don't have to pay so much attention on your own play. You can be more focused on the team in general.
Yeah, especially for a player like Dandy, he needs to be able to focus on because he always plays to the limits, and he can't do this if he has to take care about, like macro things, global things.
Pirin, he also said Artstyle in that interview, which I found really interesting. Even though they expected to get to the upper bracket, he also said, we feel like underdogs. So that they must understand that would actually put them in the lower bracket, sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say, I think they felt going in that they knew this was a possibility. So you'd have to hope, if you were a Na'Vi fan, that they prepared for it, that they have a surprise draft to go for. But I think a lot is going to depend actually on how Seneko plays. I think he's a really good player, and he's the guy that can make the plays that can get them out of trouble, and he's done that in games previously.
Okay, very quickly, 20 seconds, one word. Where's your money going, Melini?
Navi.
Vici.
Navi.
I don't even want to be, neutral professional. Navi.
Come on, Vici, don't make me look like an idiot.
In one word, well done, Seb. That was 7, but we'll let you off. It's all good, buddy. We've got your back here. We are heading into the draft, though, for our next game.
Vici Gaming versus Navi.
Navi, turn to ban.
Here we go then. Vici Gaming versus Navi, with all the marbles up for grabs, because one of these is going home in 13th to 16th. Is incredible as that may sound, and the draft is underway.
So like Vici is gonna take out like Sonic, one of Sonico's best hero, like the Wyvern, and Kieran talked about Navi being able to count on Sonico, and that's like his signature best hero.
Definitely. One hero though that Navi really likes to play is Undying. They usually rush into picking Undying, whenever they can, and it looked like Vici Gaming actually decided to give them Undying by the looks of it, unless they first pick it, which I don't think will happen. So we'll see if Artstar gets to play his Undying.
I mean, he's really good at playing, like, you talk about strength heroes, like tanky heroes up front, leading the charge, like just soaking up damage. Like, he's really good at heroes that play that role in the game.
Yeah, he's the kind of captain that's gonna, call the let's go in now. And when he has a hero that needs to position himself, then it's harder, to adapt your plays to the call you're making. But when he hasn't a hero like Undying, then it's way easier.
I mean, banning out the Winter Wyvern also opens up Wisp, I think, which Vici would be much more keen to utilize than Navi.
Definitely. Although Navi has a really good Wisp player, Soneko is extremely good on the hero. He's extremely good. That guy can play basically anything, honestly. On a support role, I can think of a hero he can play efficiently. Like, we've seen his Shaker, it's stellar. His Wisp is the same, the Winter Wyvern,
I ran into him in a pub. He played Medusa mid with Solar Crest and owned my team.
He's a very smart player. He's very, very smart. He's not to be underrated for sure. Yeah. The first big co-op for Vici Gaming. I
think he heard you there as well, because he was laughing at you.
Was it though?
No, probably not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm quite surprised they're not picking the Undying, I have to admit.
Are we going to see a more standard pick out of these? We've discussed this already. We haven't seen it really already. In those,
standard for Navi or standard?
Yeah, standard for both. Well, standard. Yeah, okay. All right, that's a fair point. It could be all over the place, couldn't it?
They did tend to Undying a lot in the group stage, and if they reviewed their replays, I would think that's like jumping too soon on the Undying train might be a reason why they actually lost a lot of the games. So I think if they want to pick it, it should be 3rd or 4th, just because they win the early game and they lose out the mid to late, just very, very often.
Yeah, and Undying is not a hero that can actually adapt. If your game planning is wrong and you have to deal with split pushing, for example, or something like this, Undying actually can do much. Dusk, I mean, everything's open now. The Queen of Pain is also open.
Dazzle has been the most popular all the way through.
Dusk, Dazzle, I mean, we've seen that this morning, earlier today, quite a lot by LGD and by Team Empire. So, yeah, Navi went for that. Nothing is revealed so far. The Queen of Pain could be mid, could be carry. How actually plays it as well, so... And we actually had the same opening earlier today, more or less. We had Queen of Pain into Bounty Hunter, which is banned, or Queen of Pain into Naga, Siren. And the opposite team had the exact same Dusk and Dazzle.
Do you think we're going to see an anti-mage?
I think it could happen. It's a Chuvos hero as well. I mean, he does sometimes overextend, but it's a hero that can also tank a lot of damage. And he's the one that's going to put a lot of pressure, and he's known for that anti-mage. So, yeah, I think definitely we could see an anti-mage from Navi. Or for Vici, How loves anti-mage.
I mean, I think in this sort of style, the best of one